Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's 1 p.m. and we're going to call the November 5th meeting of the Planning Advisory Committee to order. First order of business is the adoption of the agenda. Motion from Mayor Elmsley, seconded by Member Barkwell. All in favor? That carries. Thank you. Is there any declarations of pecuniary interest with this afternoon's agenda? All right, seeing and hearing none, we will move right into public meeting reports. As required under the Planning Act, a public meeting is being held prior to the committee making a recommendation on these applications. All recommendations that come out of this afternoon will be forwarded to the next regular council meeting on... No, it's not. Oh, it is, sorry. On November the 18th. I'm used to the sticky note, Joel, you threw me. On November the 18th, the purpose of this public hearing is to allow the committee to gather information on the applications before us, to hear those wishing to make submissions on applications, and to allow the committee to ask questions of the applicants, interested parties, and staff. Everyone speaking today is requested to state their name for the public record, and in the interest of time, the committee respectfully asks that you keep your comments to no more than 5 minutes. When the appropriate time comes after the planner makes their presentation, members of the public will be provided an opportunity to speak to any public meeting items on the agenda. At that point, please either unmute yourself and turn on your video or come to the podium and press the speak button to activate the microphone. And with that, we will begin with item 3.1, Plan 2025-050, application to amend the Town of Lindsay zoning bylaw 2000-75 at 87 Adelaide Street North, Lindsay, 1701-5381 Canada Corp. Julio?
Yes, hello.
Hi, Julio, you're on. Go ahead.
Yes, I think I need permission to share my screen. Yeah, I'm unable to. Oh, okay.
You should be good now, Julio.
Okay. Okay. Can you all see now the screen?
We can, thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. So, hello everyone. My name is Julio Sarti Caldeira. I am a planner from Dillon Consulting Limited here on behalf of the City of Kawartha Lakes Development Services Division. Thank you to the applicant for being here today, to staff and the chair and the rest of the Planning Advisory Committee for considering the zoning bylaw amendment application to permit a medical office being presented today and received for informational purposes only. I would like to note that notice for this application was originally given to each landowner, agencies, and departments in accordance with matters of the Planning Act. This is the first circulation and appearance at PAC for this application. The subject lands encompass a total area of approximately 1,255 square meters with approximately 21.6 meters of frontage on Adelaide Street North. The subject lands contain a two-story building and a parking lot on the rear of the property with 16 parking spaces. The building was last used as a hair salon. Surrounding land uses include single detached residential to the south, north, east, and west, commercial to the south, an apartment building, and a place of worship to the west. The subject lands are designated Urban Settlement Area in Schedule 8.3 of the City of Kawartha Lakes Official Plan, and Mixed Use Residential in Schedule F1 of the Lindsay Secondary Plan. In terms of zoning, the subject lands are zoned mixed residential commercial in the town of Lindsay zoning bylaw 2000-75. And the applicant is seeking to rezone the subject lands to a site-specific mixed residential commercial exception zone to permit a medical office on the second floor and a pharmacy on the ground level of the existing building located in the property. A pharmacy is a permitted use on the site, but a medical office is not permitted under the current zoning. So the site-specific zone would also address parking requirements, which are not being met for the proposed change of use. No development is contemplated as part of this application. It's just the change of the zones from the existing building. An amendment to the Town of Lindsay zoning bylaw is required to change the current zone in order to facilitate the proposal. Planning staff received a revised planning justification letter, which is currently under revision. Staff will provide further comments to the applicant, and at this time, this fulfills the statutory public meeting requirements as set out in the Planning Act. Planning staff respectfully recommend that the zoning bylaw amendment D06-2025-012 through report plan 2025-050 be received for informational purposes only and referred back to staff until refinements to the zoning bylaw amendment have been addressed. Planning staff and the applicant are here to assist in any questions anyone may have at this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Committee, any questions of Julio at this time? Deputy Mayor McDonald?
Thank you, through you. I'm kind of familiar with that property, and at one time it was already a medical center and so on. So obviously it had that zoning prior. So it was a doctor's office and ran as a doctor's office, and then it went to a hairstylist, and now they want to go back to a medical office. So I don't understand how it could be okay a couple of years ago to be a doctor's office, but now we have to rezone it again. That's just a question. I'm not sure if you were aware of it was already a doctor's office.
Yes. Perhaps I'm aware that this building was already used as a doctor's office. I'm not entirely sure the dates of the use and when the zoning has changed to add the list of permitted uses on the property. So maybe the applicant might be able to provide us further information on that.
Okay, we'll see if we can get an answer as we go along. Member Barkwell, did you have a question?
Thank you very much. I was just wondering about the major difficulty with this seems to be the parking. There's 16 spots now and it's pretty well locked in. How many would be required by the requested use? Is it going to be a major thing, or is this just kind of a smaller issue?
Yeah, through the chair, I have the parking requirements here. So for the pharmacy on the first floor, a total of 11 spaces are required, and for the medical office in the second story, a total of 36 spaces are required. So the total requirements are 47 parking spaces.
Okie doke.
Any further questions of Julio at this time? Okay, seeing and hearing none, does the applicant, owner, or their agent wish to speak to the application? Mr. DeBauer?
Good afternoon, committee. I'm here representing the owner today. He is planning on operating a pharmacy and a medical center above the pharmacy. I understand that he's had some conversations with other members of the city and adjacent staff. He is hoping that this can open sooner rather than later, and the deferral is understood, but if we could expedite it, it would even be better. The sooner we can get medical professionals in. These are not relocating existing, these are bringing in new medical professionals into the region, which I think is very important. As it relates to the use of the building was constructed in the late 1800s, I believe it was 1896 was the original construction date. To Charlie's point, the use of a doctor's office had commenced for between 20 and 30 years in this building before. However, it still was not a permitted use. The zoning has not changed. It was just being used as a medical center. It seemed to function for a very long period of time, and there's many people I've spoken to in the community that have had doctors in these offices. And therefore, when the property was listed, unfortunately on behalf of the agent, he made a misrepresentation on himself that it said it had been used, so there was an assumption that it was going to be used again for the same use. So this is where my client has now fallen short of the process, so we're trying to get that use reestablished, if you will. There's been some very good evidence that the use has worked very well. There's a lot of people within the community. It's a very dense community that can walk as opposed to drive. Yes, there is a deficiency in parking. However, if you take the zoning bylaw and any one of the permitted uses in that building based on the floor space, it would be deficient. There's not a single use in the zoning bylaw permitted that would actually meet the parking requirement today. That being said, we're here today hopefully that we can expedite this, not defer the application, but refer it back to staff for a recommendation for a rezoning and a bylaw that can be passed in short order. We're hoping to get this zoning in place so that we can get the renovation application into the building department to get the space open as quickly as possible. If there's any questions, please let me know.
Thank you. Committee, any questions for Mr. DeBoer at this time? Member Barkwell?
Yeah, thank you. 47 and 16 seem a long way apart, and I understand and I support what you want to do, but I just wonder how you can get around that other than just say, let's shake it off, because there is going to be a major parking requirement for those two facilities, two uses. So I don't know how you can get around that, Tom.
Okay, so I've had the fortunate pleasure of working with several buildings in the downtown core. Most of them, if not all of them, do not meet the parking requirements of today's zoning bylaw. The structures were created 1800s, early 1900s. The parking was what it was. The uses in most of the buildings now are deficient in parking. I have brought several into the realm of the Committee of Adjustment to accommodate the parking deficiencies. Because the use was not permitted, we also brought it alongside of the parking requirements into the rezoning application. So as I mentioned earlier, this particular structure and its required asphalt, which is the maximum the property can handle, is deficient in any single use permitted in the bylaw. So if I was to bring anybody into that building, they would be deficient. And that's unfortunately similar to a lot of buildings in downtown Lindsay and in the surrounding. And that's just due to the new zoning bylaw updates, requirements for more parking and more cars. Hopefully in the future, we're reducing the number of cars. In this place, because we are in a very populated area, I'm assuming that there is some on-street parking as well. However, a lot of people will choose to walk or take transit to get there.
Mayor Elmsley? Okay. Councillor Warren?
Yeah, maybe I missed this. How many physicians will be upstairs?
My understanding at this point, there'll be 2.
So 2 staff, couple patients. I'm thinking, and yeah, so that it seems 30 some odd. It seems quite a few. So, and I'm wondering if there is a way around expediting this to staff. Thank you.
Member Nguyen?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wholeheartedly support the expediting of the process so that we can have a new medical clinic open to serve the community as quickly as possible. I do have a question in terms of, is this a family physician practice or is it more of a specialty practice that may require more services and more notice to the community?
My understanding from the applicant or from the client who's on the call that may correct me, but these are general practitioners.
Thank you.
Member O'Reilly?
Thanks very much. I think Tom addressed some of it. For those that would remember, there was an awful lot of people parked on the street. As you mentioned, there's also walking distance, also transit that to go there. And I know that there's a parking lot with the Baptist church up in the corner that some other people use for their own employees as well. So there may very well be an opportunity to accommodate what we're looking for.
Deputy Mayor McDonald.
Yeah, I just have a comment too. When you talk about a medical office and a pharmacy, people are coming and going from a pharmacy. They're only staying for a few minutes to get their whatever they need. And same with you have appointment at 10 o'clock in the morning and so on. So the traffic would be moving fairly quickly, to the best of my knowledge, what I've learned in the past. Anyway, that's my opinion.
Okay. Any further questions of Mr. DeBauer at this time? Committee's good? Okay. Thanks, Tom. We'll figure something out here. All right. At this time, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak to the application? Anyone from the public wishing to speak to this application? Calling a third and final time. Anyone from the public wishing to speak to this application? Okay. Seeing and hearing none, committee, your recommendation, Mayor Elmsley.
Move the recommendation as printed.
Is there a seconder for the motion? Member O'Reilly, discussion, Deputy Mayor McDonald.
Can I ask the question? It goes back, but how long does it go back for? Like, how long will it take to get an answer for this? Because we've just talked about it. So my concern is sending it back to staff. What does staff have to do now? That's my question.
Director Barry, can you comment on the timelines?
Sure, Chair. Thank you very much for the opportunity. To the member, we are number one, still within our statutory processing timeline. This is the application's first appearance at PAC. We've heard the comments today, and we do appreciate them. We have a few pieces that we still want to connect. There have been some suggestions made today, and we want to ensure that staff have completed their evaluation on the sort of impacts on the surrounding land uses. There was some suggestion, for example, that possibly some surplus availability of parking in other private property could accommodate some overflow parking. You can probably appreciate that in cases like this, that may very well serve a current tenant or owner, but may not necessarily go the distance in terms of future uses. We agree that there are certainly restrictions based on the age of the building. We did take a look with the applicant prior to the filing of the rezoning if there was any other opportunity to review this proposal through a different arena. For example, the Committee of Adjustment, if there was a rationale for a legal nonconforming status based on the age and the previous uses. We were able to determine that wasn't the case, so this is definitely the right committee to be reviewing this matter. I'm quite confident in staff to be able to expedite the remaining review that's needed. We do have one more PAC meeting left this year, and we'll do what we can to make sure that we come back as soon as possible.
Just a question for myself. Based on the comments today and everything else, is this something possible that it can be referred back to staff to deal with the minor issues that exist, and rather than it come back to a PAC meeting, that it goes directly to a regular council in December to move this forward? Is that a possibility? Mr. Mayor, would you like to answer that based on the hand signals?
I was just indicating that there is no committee of the whole meeting in December, so there is only a council meeting. And I think it's December 9th. So there's one more PAC meeting before that, and then it could go to council. There's no reason why it couldn't, except as we saw this morning, it could be a crowded agenda.
For council or for PAC? PAC hasn't had a crowded agenda for a while, so I would welcome that.
Council may have a crowded agenda in December.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor then, and I think the gist of it is to move this thing as quickly as possible so that it returns to PAC for the December PAC meeting. Any further discussion on the motion? Calling the question, all in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Thank you. All right, that brings us to item 3.2, Plan 2025-052, an application to amend the Town of Lindsay zoning bylaw 2000-75 at vacant lands on Logie Street, Lindsay, Grey J Developments. Mr. Gouvier, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. For those I haven't met yet, my name is Timothy Govea. I'm an urban planner from Dillon Consulting Limited here on behalf of the City of Kawartha Lakes Development Services Division. Thank you to the applicant and to the staff and chair and to the rest of the Planning Advisory Committee for considering this zoning bylaw amendment application to permit the development of 2 4.5-story mid-rise apartment buildings, 2 3-story stacked townhouses, and 4 2-story townhouses with a total of 126 units. This is being presented and received for informational purposes only. I would like to note that notice for this application was originally given to landowners by way of newspaper ad and agencies and departments in accordance with matters of the Planning Act. A newspaper ad was sent on October 2nd, 2025. The file was circulated to departments and agencies on October 16th, 2025. This is the first circulation and appearance at PAC for this application. The subject lands are located on the west side of Logie Street along the Scugog River, between about Riverview Road to about Hillside Drive. The subject lands are known legally as part of Lot 20, Concession 6, Geographic Township of Ops, former Township of Lindsay, now City of Kawartha Lakes. So the subject lands encompass a total area of approximately 1.68 hectares or 4.15 acres, with approximately 69.56 meters of frontage on Logie Street and 3.4 meters of frontage on Riverview Street to the north. The lot is currently vacant. Surrounding uses include the following: to the north, residential uses, neighborhood commercial uses, and Riverview Road. To the south, residential uses, Lions Riverview Park, Scugog River, and east residential uses, Mary Knoll Park, Logie Street, and to the west, the river and the Victoria Rail Trail. Subject lands are zoned Residential 1, Holding 3 zone on Schedule A of the Town of Lindsay zoning bylaw number 2075, and designated urban settlement area in Schedule A3 of the City of Kawartha Lakes official plan, as well as residential in Schedule F1 of the Lindsay secondary plan. It is also an EIS 120-meter study area in Schedule G1 of the Lindsay secondary plan. The applicant is proposing to rezone the subject lands to the residential multiple 2 zone to facilitate the development of the 2 4.5-story mid-rise apartment buildings, 2 3-story stacked townhouses, and 4 2-story townhouses with, as I mentioned, a total of 126 units. There is an overall density of 81 dwelling units per net hectare, and 126 parking spots are proposed, although under the RM2 zone, 213 are required. The application is needed to facilitate the development of alternate housing forms and increase the density, as well as to remove the holding symbol. Planning staff respectfully recommend that this application be received for informational purposes only and referred back to staff until refinements to the application and respective technical studies have been addressed. Notably, planning staff requests the correct municipal address and ownership details are needed to be confirmed. Planning staff and the applicant are available here today to answer any questions the PAC or public members may have. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation, Mr. Gouveia. Committee, any questions at this time? Deputy Mayor McDonald?
Did I hear you right that there's 126 parking spots and they need 213? Is that what you said?
Yes, 126 are provided, 213 are required.
Okay. Any further questions from committee at this time? Member Barkwell?
Originally, this was, the zoning was approved and there was a hold symbol on that. And so you're requesting the hold symbol to come off, and that the number of units were previously, there were more approved than right now, down to the 126. So what was the holding symbol for, and why is it removed? And what was the previous approved number of residences down to 126? Thank you.
So through the chair, the current zoning is an R1 holding zone. So the R1 zone in the Lindsay zoning bylaw does not permit stacked townhouses, apartment dwellings, and similar. The main residential dwelling type that is permitted is single detached. So that is the purpose for that portion of the rezoning. The holding three, the holding three symbol is regarding the confirmation that an adequate supply of municipal water and sewer servicing may be available to service the subject land, and that a satisfactory completion of environmental impact study for any development or major redevelopment be conducted. So those two items would need to be confirmed in order to remove that holding symbol as part of the rezoning.
Okay, that clarifies. So the H has not been removed, but we're asking to take that off, like it hasn't been, so it hasn't been completed or finished up. So that's part of this. I didn't understand that. Thank you.
Yes.
Member Willock?
Through you, Chair, the planner. Can you confirm that the rotary trail isn't being touched on the front side? And second question, it looks like there's a fence portion. Is there still access through the development to what I would call the Iron Bridge?
So the trail, as part of the proposal, there's no impact proposed to the trail. That fence that is proposed there now would prevent some access to the trail and ultimately the bridge there at Riverview, I believe is the street, the walking bridge.
Member Willock?
Further question, is it rented units, condo units, or accessible, attainable housing?
The nature of the occupancy, I'm not sure of at this time, but that is information that we could confirm.
Deputy Mayor McDonald?
Thank you. Through you. To your question about the walkway, my understanding is that that walkway will be given to the city, that they'll have and will maintain it and make it accessible to the bridge. So that land will be given to us. And another thing about the waste and water is that we're actually bringing waste and water down there from the pumping station, from the golf course. So it's going to be going right back there because we have some more townhouses going south on Logie Street also. So there will be waste and water going through there. So, okay.
Any further questions of staff from committee? Everybody's good? Okay. At this time, does the applicant, owner, or their agent wish to speak to the application?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aditya Srinivas. I'm a planner from EcoView Consulting, and I'm here on behalf of EcoView. We are the agents on this application, so we are representing Mr. Eric Brookings, who's also here, by the way. Again, we have made the submission, and most of the technical studies have been submitted. We got a few outstanding, and we're working on completing them and submitting them to the city as soon as possible. I'm here to answer any questions that the council or the public may have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm sure we've got some questions. Member Willock?
through the chair. So same question, is it owned, condo, rented?
It would be condo units. Yep.
Okay, committee, any further questions? Member O'Reilly?
Thanks. Just further that through you, Mr. Chair, does that include like a condo road as well?
Through you, Mr. Chair, it would be a condo road. Yep.
Thank you. That's yeah.
Any further questions? Deputy Mayor McDonald?
Yeah, thank you, through you. What's the timeline? Are you ready to build?
So there's a couple technical studies that are outstanding. We did receive a few comments from the city. We got to take care of them as well. So I believe the submission, for ZBA approval would be done in the next month or so. And then once we get the approval, I guess the construction should proceed. I would say 2 years, but the owner's over here, so he can confirm as well.
Okay, any further questions from committee at this time? Everybody's good? Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, at this time, we're going to move to questions or comments from the public. We do have some people online wishing to speak to the application, so I'm going to go to the online people first, and then I'm going to go to the members of the public that are in chambers here in person. So online, the first person that would like to speak to the application, if you could give your name and go ahead.
So first up, we have Karen.
Yeah, my name is Karen Basils, and I have no questions at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Second up, Kimberly.
We can see you, Kimberly, but you're on mute.
Okay, sorry about that. My question is, what are the plans for the emergency services to access the properties between the apartment buildings, the condo buildings, and the townhouse buildings? The reason I ask is obvious, but when I look at the plans, it doesn't seem that there's really enough space for, say, 2 fire engines or an ambulance, or to get through that back space. And also Logie Avenue is 1 lane in and 1 lane out. Riverview Road is going to have 8 speed bumps, so there's no fast way up that street. There's Kawartha Lakes, I suppose. So, yeah, so what are the plans?
Okay, so do you have any other questions, Kimberly? How we go through is we're going to go through everybody. They'll have questions and concerns, and then the planner will come back and go through the list.
Okay, thank you. No more questions.
Okay, thank you, Kimberly. All right. Anyone from the public in chambers wishing to speak to the application, please come forward.
Hello, everybody. I am here today because...
Can we just get your name first, please?
Sorry, my name is Carrie. I'm here today because I am strongly opposed to the buildings for this site. There was a zoomed out image, and you can clearly see that a lot of it is residential. I don't think we need more along the river, let alone the environmental impact that it could possibly have, not just during construction, but also for the 126 plus people that are going to be living there. I believe that since our waterfront space is limited here in town, that we should preserve it, considering that the trees are already standing, animals already call it home. Several people that I know personally enjoy that area frequently every day, myself included. I cross that area to get to the bridge, to get across town on my bike, because it's really the only safe way for me to do so. And I really do enjoy the greenery that we have there. I think that there are better uses that we could use for this space publicly. And again, I'm sure many people have concerns about the infrastructure problems that we already have, the lack of driving space on the roads there. People are already flying by despite speed limit signs. If you look on this particular side of the river, it is residential. There's limited schools. So I think that this probably might not be the best use of this space, and we could find much better ways to use it. I'm also concerned that the building of these dwellings could overprice residents or outprice residents. Like, what is the cost of these condos going to be? Are they going to be affordable? Like, we are all struggling here economically, and for a lot of people, particularly in my demographic, housing affordability is very much out of reach. And so I think maybe all of the other spaces that are pre-zoned for residential should be where we're building. There's plenty of places already being built, and I really don't think that 126 units along the river is a good idea. Thank you.
Could we just get your last name, Carrie? Sorry.
My last name is Callback.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else, Member O'Reilly?
Just a quick question, through you to the deputy. You and your neighbors or who else uses it, what do you use the green space for?
Pardon?
Just a question. The place that they're talking about building on right now.
I enjoy looking at it.
Yeah. So what do you people use the property for now?
The green space that's already there.
Yeah.
I enjoy looking at it when I walk by. I enjoy hearing the birds. I enjoy seeing the nature.
Yeah.
Kawartha Lakes is beautiful. We should keep it that way. I frequently ride the trail, and at the entrance it says, "Riding is a privilege. Nature is to be respected." And I think that since it's already there, the trees have not been cut down yet. Other places could be built where trees have already been removed. And I just think that I personally just enjoy the green space. I grew up in a very forested area outside of here, and I think that trees are really important. I think that ecology is really important, especially when you're building something that close to the river. You know, like, things live there. It's not all just about us, people that need dwellings. There's plenty of other places that we could build dwellings that are not right along the river. People enjoy walking there. People want to see the green space that's there. We should keep it that way. It's much more enjoyable to look at.
That's fine. Thank you. I think it's great, but that area we've had a number of developers been trying to clean that area up because it's hasn't been very well looked after for a long time, and this is just a proposal. And if anybody's going to build there, there's all kinds of requirements and rules they're going to have to meet. They're going to setbacks in the river and all those types of things. So anyways, we'll see where it goes.
May I respond? There's developers everywhere. We can build anywhere. Why do we have to build it right along the water that people frequent? I see them walking all the time there. People enjoy that space. What's going to happen when there's 126 plus people adding onto the trail, degrading the trail? You know, like, I get it, developers. Can the developers develop somewhere else? There's no shortage of land around here.
Thank you. Anyone from the public wishing to speak to this application? Go ahead. Can I just get you to turn your mic on?
Hi everyone, my name is Douglas Duncan. I've lived in Lindsay for approximately 16 years, and I don't approve of what's proposed along the river here whatsoever. I enjoy the beauty as well. I know a lot of people in Lindsay also enjoy it as well too. People jog, walk, hang with family, friends, and take pictures of nature as well. And when I see what is planned is basically a waterfront condo planning that no one in this town or anywhere in Kawartha Lakes is going to be able to afford whatsoever. This might be called City of Kawartha Lakes, but we're just urban people barely making it, and these are going to be condos way of everyone's price range, and I don't see it making any sense. Like what this young lady says is, she's right. Why can't we build somewhere else where it's not going to affect the beauty of this trail? And, well, that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Committee, any questions? You're all good? Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak to the application? Go ahead.
My name is Kathleen Laidlaw. My husband and I retired here 6 years ago. One of the aspects was because it's a small town community. We live on one of the roads directly across from the proposed site. We're not opposed to expanding or building. It's the amount. The area that they're proposed, the schooling, as far as I know, is not adequate enough. There's one Catholic school, one public school, and a high school on that side of the river. And if you want to put 126 units in there, where are the children going to go to school? The other aspect is that a number of people in that small area, there are no plazas, there are no pharmacies, there's one grocery store, and people will have to cross the river in order to get to downtown. I have no idea how that is going to happen because it's congested as it is now. These are my main concerns. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Committee, any questions? Everybody's good? Great, thank you. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak to the application? Go ahead.
Hi, my name's Jeff Coombs. I'm a longtime resident, like Mr. O'Reilly here, and I use that path every day to walk my dog. And like I said, I've grown up here. I just think it's a bad idea in general. The river's dangerous in the wintertime to have children even around it. I've watched lots of them drown, and we use it for, like Carrie said, I agree with her.
And I'm Carrie Coombs. I just wanted to sort of reiterate what Carrie had said. We use the path along the river every day. We walk our dog. Just the beautiful scenery. We're just concerned with how many buildings and how tall they're going to be, the effect that it's going to have on the environment, and same with traffic, schooling. It's already congested there as it is. And that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Did we sell this property to the development? Because it used to be the Bonner Plastics plant that I worked at, and I believe we sold it to the town for $1. So we sold the property to the developer to begin with. Yeah, but I think everybody gets the point. We still haven't got a path from Logie Street to Rainbow Bridge in 100 years. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Committee, everybody's good? No questions? All right. The planner for, do you want to comment on the comments and answer some of the questions?
Through the chair. Yeah, sure. So I'll actually go according to the people who spoke. There was some concern regarding access and emergency access. So we did submit a traffic report, and they've not really, they don't think there's any concerns. We've also made the submission, the traffic report has been submitted, and the roads department or fire department, they've not really provided any concerns regarding access. Should there be any concerns, we can rejig the plan and make sure there's adequate access to all the buildings that you see on the concept plan. Regarding environmental concerns, so an EIS is underway. The wetland that you can see on the concept plan, that's been identified by ecologists, and the buffer that you see around it, that's a 20-meter buffer, and no development is going to be permitted within that buffer. So in addition to the wetland, there's a 20-meter setback, which is also protected. We will be rezoning that to an EP zone to provide additional protection, and also the recommendations from the EIS report will be enforced through a site plan agreement during the site plan approval process. So I believe that would provide adequate protection to the wetland. Similarly, there is a setback to the river as well, which will also be maintained. Again, no development will be occurring within that setback, whatever the setback the ecologists determine is appropriate. Regarding servicing, there was a functional servicing report and a stormwater management report which were submitted. They also do not have any concerns. We did receive a few minor comments from the city, but again, nothing too problematic. So all these reports are in support of this development, and that's the reason why we're proceeding. School board, so once the submission has been made, the school board has the opportunity to provide comments. We have not received any concerns or comments from the school board until now. I do believe that 126 units will help reach the city's housing targets. We do need more housing. Regarding transit options, I do believe there's a few transit stops on Logie Street, and there's also a trail network which people can use in addition to obviously using private vehicles. So I think that's everything. There will be a connection from Logie Street to the Rainbow Bridge, which will also, that connection will also connect to the trail network. So I think in a few years, this will actually look much more beautiful than it is right now. That's my honest opinion. So yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you for those comments. Director Barry, if you would just like to comment, and then we'll go to committee for the recommendations.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, and we appreciate all the public participation today. This is the first time that this proposal is in front of the community. So very early on in consultation, and the same is true for all of the internal staff departments that are reviewing all of these submission materials that we've just heard have been submitted. There are still a number of studies that need to be submitted. We also will determine whether any peer reviews are needed of those reports. So planning staff will be communicating this out to the developers team as we move through the review process. So just wanted to provide that feedback to the committee members and to the community that there is quite a lot of review that is still underway, and planning staff have yet to receive detailed comments back from the review agencies, both internal staff and our external consulting partners as well, including the Conservation Authority. Thanks.
All right. Just before I go back to committee, I think there was a question on costing of the units and whether they were affordable units. Can you just clarify that for committee before we move forward, please?
Through the chair, I don't think any affordable units are contemplated at this time. I would say market rate and leave it at that. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you for the information. Committee, you have heard all the comments and questions and everything. What is your recommendation to council? Member Barkwell?
Thank you. It's been very informative. That the report plan 2020-25-052, the application to amend the Town of Lindsay zoning bylaw 2000-75 at vacant lands on Logie Street, Lindsay, Grade J developments, be received for information.
Okay, seconder for the motion, Member Willick. Any further discussion? Calling the question, all in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Thank you. So at this point, under the Planning Act, this public meeting is now adjourned. That brings us to item 4, deputations, which I believe there are none, Joel. Item 5, correspondence, I believe there are none. 6, regular and returned reports, I believe there are none. Brings us to our final motion of the day. Member O'Reilly, motion for adjournment. Seconder, Deputy Mayor McDonald. All in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Thank you. Thank you for your time this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.